And welcome everyone to the Scotsman Fringe Firsts 2026. Let's give ourselves... These are our week one Fringe Firsts, and as ever, it's an absolute privilege and a joy for me as the Scotsman's theatre critic to welcome you all to this first celebration of this festival of our Fringe First winners. Fringe Firsts founded more than 50 years ago now to encourage people to do new work on the Fringe, and we hope that it's still doing that. Our biggest thank you today, first of all, must go to the Pleasance, our wonderful hosts here who host all of us. Anthony and the team have always been wonderful to us. They host all of our Fringe First ceremonies and we're so grateful to them. And our other big round of thanks goes to our terrific sponsors, Queen Margaret University, who have really thrown themselves. Queen Margaret, of course, is a university that teaches drama, and they've really thrown themselves heart and soul into the business of sponsoring our Fringe First Awards, which has been fantastic. So thank you to Paul Grice and all of the team there. Queen Margaret. Oh, and they also have quite decent accommodation at what are for the festival pretty reasonable prices and a 6-minute train journey from Waverley. So I thought I thought that I should say that. Now, those of you, I'm Joyce McMillan, I think I said that, and you know that every week in the Fringe, I have someone very special to help me present the awards. And today, our award is a man who's been coming to the Fringe for many years, I think since the 1980s, at least. He's an American actor, improvisational artist, comedian, voiceover specialist, and singer, who has built a marvellous career across screen and stage, and in all sorts of different forms of performance and theatre. Please welcome the wonderful Mike McShane. I think, sadly, we both have to use the same microphone.
Okay, come on, technique time, huh?
Yeah, technique time, absolutely. On that. Mike, it's wonderful to welcome you here. And you are, of course, here to do a show. You're doing a production of John Clancy's The Event, a former Fringe First winner many years ago. And that's playing here every day at 12:30 at the Pleasance Courtyard.
Yes, I made the Pleasance my home for almost the last 15 years. So I will do that. And then I'm doing the show with Paul Merton and Suki Webster at 3:30 in the Grand. So I get this like nice rich meal of doing the event. And then I have this great pudding, which is all the improv, with my buddies.
So tell us a wee bit about your history on the Fringe. When did you first come here? And what does it mean to you, really?
I came here on the heels of Whose Line Is It Anyway? And we were, and I found we're in the Guinness Book of World Records, the first improvisational comedians tour ever in the UK with guys named Jim Sweeney and Steve Steen. And Jim and Steve, they grew up together. So not only were they brilliant improvisers, they grew up, they were in each other's pockets since they were children. And they were so kind to me. They could have chewed me up and spat me out, but they made it a great trio. We had a grand time. We had a bus that was sponsored by Guinness. It was a great thing. Those are the days. Actually, Jim and Steve, the bus would park, and they'd go there early, and we're loading Guinness in the bus. It looked like fathers at like the delivery room going. And it was a great time, and since then, it's working with Paul and Suki, many plays I did here. Also, I did a Fat Boy. So the event it's written by John Clancy. I did this play. He had also written a version of Perubu by Alfred Jarre called Fat Boy in the American vernacular. He directed it, wrote it. My wife, his wife, and I played husband and wife in it. It was loud, grotesque. Actually, I used to weigh 400 pounds. I lost a bunch of weight, and then I had to put on a fat suit with a huge arse. And so it was great. It was great to take it off. Every day I was like, wow, And but it was a lot of fun. It got a lot of attention, a lot of press, and it started my love affair with this place. I should say I have a slightly vested interest. I am adopted. I'm adopted. My mother and dad are Irish Americans who raised me since I was 3 weeks old. But I'm literally half Scottish, a sailor from Arbroath, who came and went. The Scottish sailors do. And come on, guys, face up to it. You Chatterman bastards. And then I'm half Ojibwe, which is Native Canadian Indigenous. So it's a great mix. And I went to Arbroath, and I have friends here who live here. So after the festival, I stay sometimes for a month or so, and they show me the mining museum and the Kelpies, and I get to go to Arbroath and walk around, and it's a beautiful country to be in. Edinburgh's a brilliant city to be in. I love it so much. Even the seagulls, who if I ever achieve any huge fame, I will hire as security guards. Those are the baddest mofos I've ever seen. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be next to her, a formidable, compassionate writer who gives credit where credit's due, and even if it's not due, tries to find the things that tries to make it vital why you're doing theater, which is the subject of the event that I'm doing, that John wrote. Yeah. And in the time that we're in, and going on Pennsylvania Avenue in my neighborhood, the idea of live theater being to present the rhetoric live and be right up in front of people, right in it with them, becomes more and more important. And level of success and failure that is applied as a yardstick either in Hollywood or in Broadway starts to fall away when people can step up and find a room, find a way to talk about themselves, find a way to get it across. And you can smell it, you can feel it, and believe me, in Edinburgh about this time of the week, you can smell it and feel it. But it's grand, and I really appreciate being here.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you for joining us. Okay. Now, to the big business of the morning, which is to celebrate our 6 Fringe First winners for this very first week. And we're going to open with a show based on a book by the much-loved and much-acclaimed Scottish writer Andrew O'Hagan. Mayflies. Mayflies has its title because it's a story about how short life is and how we live it in moments and what it is to be 18 and then suddenly to be in your late 40s or even older. It's a beautiful book, and it's been given a beautiful adaptation by the much-loved and much-awarded Scottish-based theatre, Edinburgh-based theatre company, Gridiron, who are famous for their site-specific work. Now, one of the key moments celebrated in Andrew O'Hagan's story and in Ben Harrison's stage adaptation of it for Gridiron is the moment when these 18-year-old boys in 1986 go on a magical weekend to Manchester, to the 10th Summer Festival in Manchester, at the moment when Manchester music was just the absolute apex of kind of pop and rock coolness. They're there in the GMEX in Manchester having a fantastic time, and it's a moment that is kind of ingrained in all of their memories for the rest of their lives, and particularly in the memories of the 2 leading characters, Jimmy and Tully. And they remain friends, and then 30 years later, Tully becomes ill, and they have some very tough realities to face. So that is the shape of the story of Mayflies. It connects to the culture of the 1980s and of now, or of 10 years ago when the book was written. It's an absolutely beautiful story, and it's wonderfully realised by Gridiron in the most fantastic venue. What a service that company have done to this city by finding more and more fantastic places to do theatre. I remember when they first opened up the Underbelly with Gargantua, and now they've opened up the fabulous rear warehouse of Browns of Leith for this show, and it is, of course, just like the warehouse venues in Manchester of the 1980s, the famous Factory and others. The team involved is huge. It's a big production with many of the sort of stars of Scottish theatre making involved. It's written and directed by Ben Harrison. It has music by David Paul Jones. It has lighting by Simon Wilkinson. It has wonderful video by Lewis Din Hertog. Great names in current Scottish theatre making. And of course, it has a wonderful cast too, led by Matthew Pidgeon and Graham Mackay-Bruce as the older Jimmy and Tully, and brilliantly by Jude Jude, I've lost your second name because I can't read my own writing. Bain, that's right. Jude Bain and Kieran Devine as the younger, Tully and Jimmy. So please welcome the team from Mayflies to receive their
Thanks so much, Jude. I'm Ben, co-artistic director of Gridiron. In the early part of the book, towards the end of the first half of the book, Tully and Noodles make a pledge to go at life differently. And I think as a company, Gridiron, we've always gone at theatre differently over our very long 3 decades. This is our 9th Fringe First win. Thank you so much, Joyce, for all your support. That's 3 1/3 per decade. So that's pretty cool. Although the award started when Alan Wright founded the awards as an award for new writing, the writing is only part of it. We've always wanted to use the other languages of theatre: movement, light, sound, and most importantly, sight. So the sight here is the envelope for the production. So I want to thank the production team led by Fiona Fraser. Where is she? Oh, she's at the back. Of course she is. my business partner and co-artistic director of 30 years, Judith Doherty. The wonderful 8-strong cast with some Scottish theatre legends known to many of you, and 3 absolutely extraordinary young actors who are, like the characters in the book, new to the world. And I just hope, and I know that you're going to have the most amazing careers. Thank you for your commitment. And lastly, I must thank Andrew O'Hagan, who's at the back there, for the very precious gift of this novel and trusting myself and the whole team with it. I sent the first draft of the adaptation to him just before Christmas, and he very graciously responded within a week, and he responded positively, and that was the best Christmas present I've had for a very long time. So thank you, Andrew, for your trust in us, in the whole team, and yeah, thanks to the audiences who are coming. We're sold out, which is fantastic. Thank you.
Who gets the cheese board?
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, fantastic. Wonderful. Be calm. Next show is a wonderful show co-produced by 3 leading Scottish producers again. We have Dundee Rep, Aberdeen Performing Arts, and Solar Bear, our company specialising in work with deaf and hearing actors, have come together to create a fantastic show about the life of a young man who is profoundly deaf, but still, like the lads in Mayflies, has the deepest possible relationship with music, and how he works that out into a fantastic way of being creative in the world and of being loved and valued as a performer. It's not an easy story, though. He has a rough time, and he encounters another guy who's having a rough time, another musician called Andy, who is not enjoying much success, who is pretty depressed about his prospects, who's thinking of giving up on the business altogether, when he encounters this unique musical intelligence of this young man who experiences music through a special backpack that amplifies to him the beats and the rhythms that mean everything to him. All of this, it was a film co-directed during lockdown, I think, by Cora Bissett and the star of the show, Jamie Ray, but it's now a show written and directed by Cora Bissett. It's on at the Traverse. It's a beautiful piece of theatre. It's very technically demanding because there's a lot of surtitles, obviously. There's a huge amount of signing. There's a fantastic amount of music. The music cuts in and out. Sometimes you hear the music the way Jamie would. Sometimes you hear it at full volume, and so on. So it's a complicated technical show, beautifully presented by the company, and it's a wonderful piece of affirmation about the importance of music in everyone's life, and about how when we think about musical performance, and indeed about singing, we need to expand what we think we mean by that. Because here is a man who sings using his whole body and not so much his voice. So it's a fantastic show, and I want to welcome the company from the singer Cora Bissett, Jamie Ray, Dylan Wood, Hannah, I don't know how many of you are here, Hannah Jarrett Scott and Peter Dobre are the other two amazing cast members. Please come to the stage and accept your fringe. Listen. Welcome. Oh, there she is. Can you?
Thank you so much, Joyce. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Singer herself, by the way. That's why she looks so good with a mic.
I just want to say a tiny little bit about how this came about, and it was really seeing Jamie perform at his showcase at the RCS and in the deaf acting course there, which is really the only one like it of its kind in the UK, I believe. So really big respect to Scotland and RCS for nurturing the brilliant deaf talent here in Scotland. And Jamie got on stage and he had a singer to the side of him playing guitar, playing a beautiful song. But Jamie was absolutely the main act on stage. And he had me in tears with his evocation of this song through his whole body and the way that he felt the music. And that really was the starting point about 7 years ago. I just thought, who's this guy? I want to do something with this. This is exciting. And I've never seen music performed like this before. And when I went in to do some professional practice with the students there, one of the students had said, "Oh, we've seen your musicals. We love music theatre. Will you cast us in your shows?" And I sort of was caught on the spot, and I said, "Yeah, totally. I don't have a clue how to do that." So together with Jamie and with Solar Bear and all the team, we and Dundee Rep and all the producers believing in this idea, we've worked out how to make a piece of gig theatre which centres a brilliant deaf performer in Jamie and our wonderful supporting cast. So I wanted to thank Dundee Rep first and foremost. It really was when I pitched the idea to Andrew, before I'd even finished the outline of the idea, he was like, "Yep, I get it, I'm in." And it really is that kind of bold belief in an idea that gets something off the ground. And I want to thank Solar Bear for coming on board as brilliant partners. Jennifer Bates, woohoo, has been really ploughing this territory, working with deaf actors in Scotland for a long time before I swooped in and came along. And your expertise in working with deaf actors and knowing the support that is needed around that, and so graciously and generously shared that, Jen, and helped us understand how we could support these actors. Because it's a different process, you know, there's a lot of translation time needed, there's a lot of different preparation that's needed. There's 4 interpreters working in the room at any one time. And I think Solar polar bears knowledge really helped this be the most supported production it could be. And I'm going to give a huge shout out to this woman here, Yvonne Strain. Who many know and love in the theatre community. She stands within our productions, interpreting, but also being part of those productions in Scotland in a beautiful, wonderful way. But she's also more than that. She's a bridge between myself, the creative team, and our wonderful deaf performers, because it's not just a literal translation. Yvonne is getting the nuance of what we're trying to say, what I'm trying to get from Jamie and Petra and all the other team, Benny, my wonderful associate director, and she's the go-between, and her understanding of what I'm trying to create, and also the text. 2 weeks of translation before we get into the room, and she's trying to break down, dense Scots language and sort of go, how do we translate Bossack features in BSL? There's meaning beneath that. It's what kind of Bossack are we talking about? I'm sure I'm going to forget people. I want to thank all my amazing creative team who, as you said, Joyce, it's a phenomenally technical production. Daniel Hughes has worked wonders on the subtitles and how we've integrated that into the show. MG McCarthy, Emma Jones, Jenny Booth, all my brilliant creative team, but also the technical team. Jessie Ward, my production manager. Alex and Ruby, who are busting a gut every night. As we know, the Trav is it's a marathon to get that show up and down every day, and thank you for all your care and the work that you do behind the scenes that is not always seen. I'll stop talking and let Jamie say a few words. Thank you.
Yes, I want to say thank you to every one of you that's here and for having us here. Very quickly, the singer has been so important for the deaf community and for deaf people generally, to show BSL, to show it in the forefront of a show and breaking through onto main stages, especially a stage like the Traverse. We really appreciate the Traverse for having us in their space, and it's a huge breakthrough for the deaf community in Scotland, and I feel very honoured. I feel it's a huge celebration. As Cora has said, most of the thanks I have to say now goes to absolutely the technical team, Alex, Ruby, Jess, everybody, because it's been a huge amount of work for them to actually realise that and bring it onto the stage for us, to do the work every night that we need to do. So I want to say a huge thank you to the technical team, because you guys are amazing. So yes, thank you to everybody. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness, yeah, we should take that. That thing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do we do a B40? Hey. Thank you so much. Thanks, Joyce.
Thank you. Beautiful, Jamie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Somebody fetch this so we have more stage space.
Right. Oh, right. My goodness. That's fantastic. Such a pity we couldn't see Jamie signing a song, which is a wonderful experience for those of you who haven't had it yet. But find a way to see this show on what I'm sure will be its longer life around Scottish and UK theatre. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, from two big shows to one of the many solo shows on this year's Fringe. But if performers often struggle for various reasons, all sorts of different reasons, to find a creative way forward, this is a show that faces up to the truth that for many people in this business and indeed in society in general at the moment, there's just very little chance of making any kind of creative future at all. The jobs available, if there are any, are often grinding and poorly paid, and there's a huge rate of unemployment or underemployment right across our society. And right at the heart of that kind of often unspoken but very present narrative in our society at the moment is Toast, written and performed by Jude Green. It's on at Summerhall, and it's presented with the help of the Shedload of Future Fund, which is run by the Shedinburgh organisation, Francesca Moody's Shedinburgh organisation, to help assist new work onto the fringe. And this is a beautiful monologue it's about an out-of-work actor, and I thought, oh no, not another show about actors yet. Too many of them on the fringe, really there are. But nonetheless, this is not really a show that focuses primarily on what job it is that this woman cannot get. It focuses on the awful situation of people in our society at the moment who just cannot get decent work. And it's in the form of a dialogue between the actor, who you see, Jude, and a voice, which is the voice of the kind of interviewer that interviews people for universal credit, as it's known in the UK now, the main sort of unemployment and other benefit. This voice is obviously following a script. One of the main interests of the drama is how that voice eventually kind of breaks down, and the two begin to realise that they're both just workers either looking for or in really shitty jobs and so on. But nonetheless, what it has at its heart is this absolute forensic insight into the way that our current benefit system humiliates, degrades, invades the privacy of, and simply abuses often the people who are trying to extract a very meagre sort of amount of money to survive on from it. Now, of course, all of you who are living in the UK at the moment will know that that's not the narrative we hear. No, people are driving Mercedes and living the life of Riley on the British benefit system, but that's not something that is ever said by people who have ever experienced trying to get enough money to live on out of that system. And also the catch-22, of course, that if you do get a job, you lose so many of the ancillary benefits that you're actually poorer than you were when you weren't working. And that is a really serious trap into which many people now risk falling, and it's how people end up at food banks despite working 40 and 60-hour weeks. So this is a fantastic show which just focuses... It's only an hour, it's only one person, and it's only these two voices, but it focuses with such a sharp intelligence and integrity on that situation, which is facing so many millions at the moment. It's written and performed by Jude Green, it's directed by Debbie Hannon, and we're delighted to welcome them to the stage to accept the award for Toast.
Right, so I'm just going to come this side. I've had to write it down because I will melt into a small puddle of ineptitude. So, yeah, I do have to say, it's not just me, it is this lovely egg. This is Jack Wakely, he is the voice. Jack very gorgeously plays the voice of both universal credit and agents and people who want you to work for free and people who have no intention of hiring you, and is wonderful, and I love him very much. Thank you, Jack. So the first thank you absolutely has to go to Jack for doing this with me. He's also up in the tech at the same time. But also, like, just to win this award and to win Fringe First against so many people who are making incredible work with such immense track records. This is not just my first time at the Fringe, this is my first play, and that's mental. It's such a joy to win it, and it's still not landed. I still think I'm like asleep, and someone's going to kick my door in and wake me up. But thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much for like saying what it is to live on universal credit as well. It's enormously important for us to be able to say it and to speak to that, and something that we've gone through and something we know people in our lives have gone through. But for other people who are outside of that or just coming to see the show as a third party, it's important for other people to talk about it too, and to talk about it with honesty and integrity. So thank you for that wonderful introduction, Joyce. We have to thank, on my little notes, we have to thank Summer Hall for being absolutely wonderful. They have been an absolute joy to work with and to be in their space. We've had the most support from them. It's been incredible. And we have to thank the wonderful Liv up there from Chloe Nelkin, who is basically our show mum looking after our bags and filming at this point. Thank you. I'm going to thank Jack again, and also the wonderful Debbie Hannon, who is not here at the moment, but the show wouldn't be an ounce of what it is without the both of you. Thank you. Yes. Again. And I want to thank all the other working and underclass artists at the Fringe. They set us a phenomenal example, and it's a pleasure to watch their work and see their graft and to know that it is possible, and it's possible to keep coming back and to make this a real career. So thank you to them too. And we absolutely have to thank Edinburgh again, yes, because the Shed Load of Future grant is the biggest one of its kind to fund people to come to the Fringe, and we would just be nowhere near this festival without it. People like us, on incomes like ours, don't come to this festival. We can't. People on benefits can rarely make shows that make it this far, and half the time can't buy a ticket either. So for us to be here, it feels massive. And for us to be here to tell real stories of working an underclass life is enormous. And we're very proud to be here and do that, and to be speaking to that lived experience of so many, like Joyce said, both within the arts and outside of it and far beyond it, who are struggling to live under a punitive benefit system.
I just want to say it's been a pleasure and a joy to work on this show and make something like this by like the skin of our teeth and the seat of our pants. Like, we are here just clinging onto the edges, and so there need to be more opportunities like this. Also, this show is for everybody who finds themselves surveilled, scrutinised, squashed and strangled by bureaucracy and gatekeeping when all we're trying to do is live and somehow make work. So that's poor folks, disabled folks, trans folks, racialised folks, and anyone who has the courage to call for a free Palestine. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow. Yes, troubled times. And the playwright Zinni Harris has become a great poet of those troubled times. Of course, there are many people in Britain and other parts of the Western world who are fortunate enough to live lives cushioned from the kind of trouble that is so eloquently described in Toast, and from the kind of trouble that we see now on our television screens every day. These are grueling times for people in many parts of the world. And many of us, I think, struggle psychologically to reconcile these two things. I don't know if many of you have recently seen that fantastic, but it's been absolutely rife on social media, that strange picture of a couple sitting on a beach under a beach umbrella, looking quite chilled, but viewing a horrible wildfire just across the bay, as if it was a mere spectacle, something that could never touch them. And there's something about that picture that's very eloquent, I think, about certain aspects of Western life at the moment. And that picture, in a way, is the kind of creative thought, if you like, which underlies much of Zinni Harris's work. Into supposing her beautiful new play at the Traverse, the central character is Sally, who's a kind of middle-class mother, wife, manager, worker, who has lost her job, and one day she falls into a hole outside the local theatre, a hole in the road, you know, there are plenty of them around, and when she comes out, she's a changed woman. Something has happened, something that puts her unavoidably, and in a way she can't ignore, in touch with sort of dark elemental forces that belong to what we think of as ancient Greek tragedy, or much more sort of relentless and violent times than many of us have been fortunate to live in. And she becomes almost like a figure from Greek tragedy, right there in her sort of middle-class Edinburgh kitchen with her husband, beautifully played by Richard Conlon, standing by and trying to medicalise or explain or love his way out of it, and it just can't be done. She's in the grip of the furies or the agonies or something much more elemental, and she can't let go. She sees visions, both kind of general visions of apocalypse, but also particular predictions of things that she thinks are going to happen to people, just her next door neighbour who's a horrible racist who she hates, but she feels, should I save this woman? She's seen this vision of a cancer, so on. And she, another young girl that she sees, a young violinist living in one of the town's refugee hostels, that she feels that she ought to do something to save. She knows that something awful is going to happen to this girl, and she becomes more and more driven, and her eyesight goes strange in a way that echoes so much in ancient Greek tragedy, the blind seer Tiresias, who's neither a man or a woman, actually, and you can sort of see how that fits what's happening to Sally. She's leaving behind all the roles and attitudes traditionally associated with womanhood for something much more ancient, deeper, and more frightening. Anyway, as you can imagine, since this is a play by Zinnie Harris, it is exquisitely written, and it boasts a fantastic central performance from Nicole Cooper as Sally. It's physically demanding, it's vocally demanding, but above all, it's emotionally and intellectually demanding. And it's great to see an actress of Nicole's quality rising to that challenge with such brilliant support from Richard. And actually, this is a bit of a spoiler, but they are not the only performers that we see. Towards the end, we gain a glimpse of some of the things that once she accepts this new state of her being, that Sally can begin to see and hear. And that is really a wonderful way of ending what is really a beautiful play. So please, everyone involved in supporting.
Everybody's coming up. Thank you, Joyce, first of all, for those beautiful words, and also thank you for the sort of the advocacy for Scottish theatre in particular, but live theatre making and the importance of new work, where we all know sort of how tirelessly you work and support us all, and we all really appreciate it. So I wanted to say that. But as to this play, Joyce was talking about the sort of starting point, but I think it was also to kind of try and, all plays are self-portraiture in some way, and it's always a kind of, neurotic splat of what comes in your head. But I sort of wanted to kind of talk about the kind of, Sally has this line of kind of moral ineptitude, and how this sort of state of just feeling like the world is coming at us and there's nothing that we can do apart from despair. And so this kind of character of Cassandra was, she exists, but I started to sort of work with it to describe our relationship with the future and suggest that actually, the title is supposing, but that we can suppose something better for ourselves. So that was the sort of starting point. And I couldn't have thought, when I was first starting to scribble, I couldn't have thought of anyone but Nicole Cooper to play that part. Nicole has been absolutely by my side for this play and the last one, Macbeth and Undoing, and I'm sure there'll be many more. And then, of course, Richard Conlon joined us early doors, and we had a brilliant development period where I started to think it couldn't be anybody but him. I won't tell that story, Richard, unless you want me to. There was a particular moment where I knew that I could. Richard was my type of person, but I'll tell you about that in the bar.
It involves pants.
It does involve.
It involves my pants.
Now I have to tell them. Shall I tell them? No. Okay. Anyway,
I don't mind.
it was all very seemly. But and the Travers have been completely supportive, right through this process. There are so many people I want to thank there. Gareth in particular and Ode, you've been really solidly sort of supporting this. There you are. I was looking at you over there. But it is a strange play. Not only does the woman fall down the hole, but when she appears, she has a chorus in her head of 17 people that follow her. But they never said, "Oh, that's a bit of a strange idea, Zinni. Do you really want to write that play?" They were just like, "Yeah, we can make it happen." I think you've just sat Dakshini on the microphone. And wonderful creative team, many of whom are here: Elisa, Danny, Lizzie. We did our lights. We do have other people in the company, including this wonderful woman, who, if you come and see the show, you'll get a little surprise of. So yeah, thank you very, very much for this award. I first came to the Travers, but also the Fringe. My career started in 2020, and I got a Fringe first then for that award. And I just have to say, the Fringe has been a real kind of mainstay and a place that I've always felt I can kind of bring my work and do something a bit kind of different. And I'm so grateful for that. Is there anything you want to say? Have I forgotten anyone?
No, I don't know. Have you?
I don't know, probably. If I have, I love you, and I'm very grateful.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's a little bit intimidating, actually, to be up here. Joyce, thank you so much for speaking so eloquently about our show. We love this play, and we've loved feeling the audience's reactions to it. I just wanted to say thank you to Gareth in particular, who's so sort of quietly supported us and just been really present, and everybody at the Trav who just sort of had our backs from day one, and it's just felt like such a sort of collaborative and collective experience. So yeah, and when Zinni emails you and says, "Could you read a play?" you fucking read it as quick as you can, and then you say, "Please, can I do it?" Anything you say, I will do. So yeah, I'm so grateful for that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have our get our photo. That's wonderful. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful piece of writing. Now, to the West Bank, because this is one of the areas of suffering, pain, horror, injustice that all of us cannot help witnessing on our screens at the moment. Not the only one, of course, not as totally destroyed as Gaza, in a similar situation, or perhaps not quite so devastating as what's going on in South Lebanon, and of course all the other trouble spots of the world at the moment, trouble spots, war zones, about which we know so much. And war, of course, always damages the vulnerable first. Old people, children, women, those who are damaged in ways that are just beyond imagining by whatever, starvation, lack of water, violence, abuse, and so on. How to make theatre that people will want to see out of that? Well, as we discovered last year with his wonderful show, The Horse of Jenin, Allah Shahada is the man who can do that. He not only embodies so much of the sorrow and the pity and the reality of what is happening to Palestinians, particularly in his native West Bank and Jenin at the moment, but also knows how to celebrate the beauty of the way of life that once existed and to some extent still exists in that part of the world, the fantastic music, the wonderful sense of humour, the food, the collective enjoyment of silly jokes and family life and so on. Allah manages in 1 hour shows to embody so much of all of that. And his latest show, The Bridge, playing at Assembly Roxy this year, is about a bridge which the British, of course, in their infinite arrogance, used to call the Allenby Bridge, after a British general who probably did a lot of damage to people in that part of the world. But it's the bridge that crosses the Jordan between the West Bank and the Kingdom of Jordan. And in order to get across that, the only way for people in the West Bank to go anywhere outside the West Bank is to get across this, which involves not 1, not 2, but 3 checkpoints. First, there's the Palestinian checkpoint, then there's the Israeli checkpoint, and then finally there is the Kingdom of Jordan checkpoint. And it takes hours. There are always queues, there are buses, there are people trying to make the journey in all kinds of different falling apart vehicles. And this story, this show tells the story of one bus journey across that damn bridge and through all of those checkpoints by a man who, for his sins, because of his mother, is carrying a huge tankard of the family's sort of olive oil, huge, water container of the family's olive oil, which is leaking all over the place, to his auntie, who is now resident in Jordan. Because, of course, the Palestinian people over the last 70, 80 years have been scattered across that region. Many live in Jordan, many live in Lebanon, many have had to move to Europe or further afield. So this is what Allah does. He tells us the story, and he tells it from the heart, with sorrow, with laughter, with music, and with fun. How he does it, I'm not quite sure. He's just a magnificent performer who holds an audience in the palm of his hands. And he tells one of the saddest and most important true stories of our time in a way that makes people want to come and see it and queue to the doors to try to get tickets for the bridge at Assembly Roxy. The Palestine Comedy Club and Allah Shahada, please come up for your fringe.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Shukran. Thank you so much, guys.
Watch out, the Palestinians are here. Oh, thank you so much. What an honor to stand here for the second time. I thought it will be less stressful, but it's not. Now I'm curious how it will feel, how stressful it will feel for the third time. Now you got it, okay. Welcome. Thank you so much, guys. Oh, a lot to say, actually. The bridge. It's a story from thousands of stories that we have in Palestine that I feel as a Palestinian artist is important to share our stories and fight the stereotypes, the black and white images that you see in the media, the black and white images that you see all over the world. And I feel I have the capacity, I have the ability to bring you some colors, to bring you some human feelings, emotions, so we can feel together instead of looking at us as a black or white image, as victims, boors, or poor people, or people who's in prisons. We're way more than that. I know politicians and politics wants us to look like that, but I mean, we as a humans is way more powerful, way more colorful than that. And I feel as a Palestinian artist, it's my responsibility to deliver you those colors with the same colors as the Palestinian flag to you guys, so we can get closer to each other and connect as a humans, not more than that. So it's very important for me. Thank you so much for acknowledging us, giving us the space. This feels like we feel heard, we feel people seeing us as Palestinians, and the story is heard. Unfortunately, I stood here last August 2026, and today, reality did not change. While we're celebrating this, while we're celebrating the fringe, it's getting worse. Settlers all over the West Bank taking over lands and people's olive trees, and one of them, as the story, my uncle's olive trees. I called him, I told him I won the fringe fairs. I said like, okay, so. Will the award bring me back my olive trees? I said, now the people know about the story. And that's my aim as Allah, that is my belief, is to fight the stereotypes, to fight till the reality as it is with big heart and honestly. And because this is our culture, comedy, humor, storytelling, this is our culture. So I want to be honest and deliver the full reality as much as I can. Thank you so much. I would love to thank everyone, every member of the Palestine Comedy Club who was very supportive. Sam Beale, Dr. Sam Beale, who's a doctor in comedy. What the hell? Guys, you've got weird things. Oh my God. She's not here, unfortunately. She's having... I know, it's not your business, guys. Anyway, why I'm saying that? Okay. The Bush Theatre in London, who supported us. By the way, a lot of great people who were supporting opening their arms for us. Thank you so much. The Bush Theatre in London. Our lovely BR, Martin, who's a great guy sitting here. Thank you so much, Martin. Our lovely producer, Qasim Salam, also. Roxy Assembly, thank you so much. The Circus School here from Palestine, from Ramallah, Jerusalem, Nablus, who's celebrating at the Fringe. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, guys. And come to the bridge. And next week, I'll start the House of Janine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the Fringe. Thank you. Shukran.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to say something very quickly.
Yes, please.
But this is my 13th Fringe. And the Fringe has always been a space of real community and safety. And something quite unpleasant happened when we got here this year, which was that all of our outdoor was defaced with racist graffiti. And that's the first time that I've had something like this happen in the Fringe, which has always been a safe space where I could come and feel comfortable in expressing myself however I wanted to. And I feel that's the same for so many people. And I just wanted to say thank you to the Scotsman and the Awards for recognizing a show like this and the work that we've been doing, because I think there's atrocities happening all over the world. And it's getting worse here. It's getting worse everywhere. And it's happening on our doorstep. And the answer to that is community. And one of the foundations of community is storytelling. It's something that we all share across the world. And so thank you very much for supporting our little attempt to help build that here and across the world in whatever way we can. So thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And of course, when we discuss the political ills of our world, then it doesn't take us long to get round to discussing the most powerful country, nation, continent almost in the world, the United States of America, celebrating its 250th birthday this year. And that is the big theme of the Edinburgh International Festival this year, which is taking a very critical and searching look at many aspects of the American story, the positive, the negative, the glorious, and the not so glorious. And here on the Fringe, there are two artists who first appeared here about half a decade ago, who are rightly, completely celebrated for their brilliant satires on the story of America, looking at different aspects of it, whether it's the rodeo, whether it's the 1950s domestic dream, whether it's the history of the generation that fought in Vietnam, or whether it is their latest show, which is about two glued up kids in the 1990s in a little Appalachian town who borrow the trailer of one of their uncles, and one night, one dark and wintry night, run into something on the road. And when the local constabulary, as we would call it in Britain, turns up to investigate what's happened, they begin, almost instinctively, to indulge in a bit of distraction and disinformation. And in no time at all, the town is rife with rumours about a monster, a Bigfoot, a Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it, in which everyone, for a variety of reasons, chooses to believe. The authorities think that it's wrong, or so they say, not to meet people's legitimate fears of this Sasquatch, which doesn't exist. The mayor thinks that it's turning into quite a useful thing because it makes the town seem more interesting and might attract a few visitors. And a lot of the people of the town, who are already traumatized by a huge flood in which they've lost access to drinkable running water, cling to it in a psychological way as a kind of embodiment of all of their fears and unrest that they're not otherwise encouraged or allowed to articulate. And all of this is achieved in a 1-hour show of fantastic athleticism, immense humour, huge perception, brilliant scripting, some superb acting of the individual characters by these two astounding performers in their show called Bigfoot Ripped My Dog in Half, I Saw It. It's Chloe Rice and Natasha Rowland, the legendary Chloe and Natasha. Hi
guys. Oh my God. Whoa. Here we. Okay. I'll come on this side. Take it. Well.
Thank you so much.
Thank
this
you.
is insane.
It's crazy.
We first obviously have to thank Soho Theatre and Soho Playhouse, Maddie, Darren especially. They commissioned this work and gave us kind of an insane amount of creative control. They were like, go ahead, write whatever you want.
Do what
we
you
don't
want.
care, it's fine, and just offered like the most immense support.
Yeah, when we were like, Bigfoot, they were like, okay, for sure. We'd also like to thank, of course, Summer Hall and Sam for hosting us. The team at Summer Hall has been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, of course, to the Scotsman and
Yes.
Joyce. I loved that description. You describe our shows better than we can
Anyone
ourselves.
ever.
And obviously, especially a huge thanks to our team, Tom, Godfrey, Angelo, Annabelle. We could not do this without you. We would not be sane without you. We love you guys so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
There it is. There, that's the one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, this is our 4th Fringe First Award, our consecutive one since 2022, which is really exciting for us. That's the only way we know how to do world premieres. But we just want to say to all the artists that are in the room, it's really important to us to tell you to take care of yourselves. This is an incredibly hard thing to do, both physically, mentally. It's so important to be like looking after yourself, taking care of yourself, advocating for yourself. We want to say, don't be humble when you don't need to be humble. It's be loud when things are hard, be loud when things are really, really good. It's so important as artists to use your voice in that way as well.
Yeah. And if there's, maybe there's not, if there are non-artists in the room, we want to remind you to try not to think about artists as machines.
Yeah.
I think we're so spoiled here at the Fringe with such immense talent that it can be easy to forget the blood, sweat, and tears and sweat and
blood
and sweat.
Sweat.
I get really sweaty during our show. That was for me. But I think that there's a little bit of a double-edged sword of when people congratulate you and say you make it look easy, that people start to believe that it is easy, and it is not.
It's not easy.
So celebrate yourselves. And to everyone in the room, please continue to champion new work. Go support young artists. Go support small shows. Go be the only person in the audience at a Fringe show. I dare you. Go see shows at the Space UK.
We
wanna
love the
thank
Space UK.
We would not have even been able to come back here a second year ever without their help. We think that,
yes.
yes, for the Space UK. Thank you so much.
For real.
Thank you guys. We love The Fringe. The Fringe is about new work, in our opinion, and thank you so much to everyone here for championing it. This is an honor. Thank you so much.
We love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
And thank you too.
And I have a last bit of advice. If they tell you there's a big Sasquatch out there that you ought to be hating, don't believe them. It was just a couple of kids trying to get themselves out of trouble. Anyway, thank you all so much. What a fabulous first week list we were lucky enough to have this week. Mike, thank you so much for being with us and handing out the awards. How was that for you?
That was wild. It's such a panoply of different voices and different ideas, and thankfully some from my country, which aren't the ordinary ones. So right on, guys. Right the fuck on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And all the best with the show there. If you see a little pink leaflet round here that says the event, that is Mike's show, and it's 12:30 every day.
Pleasance above.
The Pleasance.
You'll see my producer has it taped all over him, just pull one off like a stripper.
Now, we must give a fantastic and huge round of applause to Yvonne Strain here. our wonderful BSL interpreter for this awards ceremony, and I have to say, part of a BSL interpreters group community now, who are making a huge creative contribution to Scottish theatre through their work, both interpreting shows which are not on themes or particularly from companies that are concerned particularly with issues around deaf and hearing people, but both in those shows and in shows which address the lives of deaf people directly. And they are a terrific creative support in all of that, and a wonderful community of BSL signers, and Yvonne is one of their leaders. So thank you, Yvonne. Yeah. Apart from that, once again, thanks to all of the Scotsman team. You know who you are for all your efforts in this first week. It's always the toughest and busiest week of the Fringe. So thank you all for your efforts as we go on into week 2. Thank you again to our wonderful sponsors, Queen Margaret University, for all of your support and help. Thank you to the Pleasance for hosting us today and for our next 2 award ceremonies. And we would love to welcome you back here, same place, same time, next week for the Scotsman Fringe First Awards Week 2.